Hello. All right. So today we have Desmond, right, with us. He works with home insurance and other types of insurances as well, but I'm just gonna let him tell you and I'm gonna pass it off. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your services.
Gotcha. What's going on, viewers? I'm Desmond Burris. I'm a rep for Liberty Mutual, but I also work with 16 different companies to get you the best coverage, rates, phenomenal as possible, best as possible. I work with auto, life, home, annuity, motorcycle, RV. I take care of your pets. Pretty much anything that you could think of that's sort of insurable, I'm in the market to sort of help you out and get you rolling.
Awesome. So as a realtor, right, I'll mostly be kind of focusing on some home insurance questions because I feel like people mistake what home insurance is sometimes. So what is home insurance?
Home insurance to me and how it's sort of looked at as a protection on your investment. A lot of people don't understand that. Like anything that you go out and buy in your life, the biggest things that you go out and buy, your home, your vehicle. So home insurance is to protect you from those worn off instances that, could be like your worst day. I'm here to protect you on your worst day. Anything, can happen. Anything is possible. Fires, sort of some natural disasters, things of that nature. And I come in, me and, my company, and rebuild your house from pretty much the ground up. So home insurance is vital, and it's an investment. It's a protection of your greatest investment.
Yeah. And so what would you think some common misconceptions about home insurance are?
So common misconceptions, people are saying, hey, they'll look at it from like a renter standpoint, hey, I don't need it, things of that nature. But if you're taking a loan, mortgage lender, which I mean, majority of us are, unless you're balling or something like that, hey, but they're going to want their money back for that investment. So if you don't have it, and let's say, God forbid, your house burns to the ground, the mortgage company's still going to want their money at the end of the day. Another common misconceptions that I see a lot is, let's say that you buy a property for $175,000. To actually rebuild the foundation of the house and things of that, and those type of structures is $145,000. A lot of people will say, well, hey, that might not be enough coverage, but they're not thinking about, hey, the homeowner doesn't include like the actual physical land property itself and a couple other things that sort of make that selling price the 175. So when you're looking at homeowner insurance, look at the cost of actually rebuilding, the house and maybe the structures that are right there along with it, like your garage, things of that nature.
Yeah, some things that I hear, people are always like, they think they can use their home insurance like a home warranty. Like they think things like a wash machine and dryer are covered. Or they'll say, oh, I'll just call my home insurance because the plumbing started to leak, right? And so then you have to sit back and you're like, I know you think that falls under home insurance, but typically that's not going to be your reason to call home insurance, right?
At all. Because a lot of times the average deductible that I've sort of seen, coming across my clientele is like $1,000 deductible. So
Right.
really home insurance is for those catastrophic, worn offs that happen. But it's definitely a necessity. It's something that you definitely need to have.
Yeah. And so how does home insurance work? So like just say, for example, there was a storm that came through and now all of a sudden my leak leaked my roof. So it's almost like, okay, it's evident that it was because of the storm, or things like that. Like what type of coverages should you have? How much coverage do you think you're supposed to have? Like what, all of those type of things. So how does home insurance really work?
So threshold number wise, you want to look at pretty much what I would go through with the customer is the roof foundation, making sure that it's in good standing, but also each sort of like, let's say that you have custom granite or things of that nature, that has to be sort of accounted for. Now, as far as just like the specific number, the machine for us pretty much throws out a number, but it's based off of, the things that you have within that sort of that house. So let's say you have like a custom custom kitchen, custom bathroom or things of that nature. It's going to, raise the price of the value of the house.
Right.
Or, you could have, sort of the normal amenities that, everybody doesn't have, custom granite and things of that nature. And it'll spit out pretty much the number to rebuild the house based off of, each section and each structure of what you have within that home.
Yeah. And
That's
so does it also include, let's just, because when you have home insurance, when you live in a home, you have a crap ton of stuff. You accumulate a lot of stuff over time. So, you know, great, my house is going to be rebuilt, but now I have to sleep on the floor or I don't have clothes. Does it allow for allowance to be able to replace furniture and clothing and, TVs, stuff that people have in their house?
It does. It does. It does actually have that. And we also have add-ons as well. Let's say you have a lot of, you're a jury collector and things of that nature. We also have, add-ons to where we can add that type of stuff. Certain natural disasters that you want to make sure that if like you're in let's say like Virginia Beach, like a place that sort of has the potential to flood, make sure that you have that add-on to your homeowners, because there are certain things as far as natural causes that are not in your homeowner policy as
Right,
well.
right. Like I think oftentimes floods are not covered by homeowners insurance. And so that is considered a flood zone. Then there's an additional coverage that you would purchase, right? And that would be that would be a flood insurance. One of the reasons why when various areas that flood that don't normally flood, it causes a big issue and people aren't able to rebuild their homes because they didn't have that insurance. Because it's been like, oh, there hasn't been a flood here in 50 years, so we don't need that. But now there is, and now you do, and you don't have it. Yeah, yeah. So that's what happens, and that's bad. So who pays for home insurance? So let's just say I just bought it. I just bought my house, so it's still covered by the bank. Who pays for home insurance?
So from what I've seen, the consumer. The
Okay.
consumer makes those payments. It's up to them to pretty much sort of reach out. I haven't seen an instance as of yet. Like I said, personally for me, I'm newer into the role, so I'm still, sort of learning some things. So everyone bear with me. I don't know if anybody in the comment section saying, hey, nah, that's incorrect or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it can be built in through your mortgage lender as well.
Yeah.
But what I've seen for the most part is consumers themselves sort of going out here, getting the ball rolling and make sure that they protect their investment.
Yeah, so it's up to the home buyer to choose their mortgage, their home insurance. It's up to the homeowner to check on what types of things they're covered, like, what is my policy cover? Do I have enough coverage? All of that is up to the homeowner. Typically, your actual payment that you make will come from your escrow account. So you do pay it, you just pay it built into your mortgage amount each month, and then your mortgage company sends that check to the home insurance yearly to make sure that your coverage is paid for the year. It's still up to the homeowner to reach out to the home insurance. So you still have to be very familiar with who your person is to contact. You have to be very familiar with what your coverage says and what it means and how much your deductible is. All of those things as a homeowner, you still have to be very familiar with. Now, is home insurance required?
It is not. I looked it up in the state of Virginia. It's actually not required. If you're pretty much mortgaging, your
Right.
mortgage lender can require you to have it. So it's
Right.
not a necessity.
Exactly. So is there a difference in home insurance, like between whether you have like a condo or townhome versus having a single family home? Is there a difference in how the home insurance is provided homeowners?
Definitely. And the difference, I would say, a lot of times is that personal property. So let's say that you are like renting the condo out to, consumers or things of that nature.
Mhm.
What insurance itself would cover would be the structure building. But everything inside the building, the people would have to be responsible for the actual personal property dwelling. Same way as like renter's insurance. So if anything sort of happens structurally, as a renter, I wouldn't be, held responsible for the building itself, but I would have, protection on the properties inside the building.
Exactly. Which is why if you rent from anybody, your landlord or that apartment complex, somebody should be telling you that you need renter's insurance because their insurance only covers the building. It doesn't cover none of your stuff. So if you are displaced for days on end, months on end because you don't have a place to stay, that literally is not their problem. You just
And
are
you got
going
to
to
think
need.
about all the personal property that you have in your space
Right.
that now that now is not accounted for, and you have to sort of rebuild up. So I mean, literally, especially with renters, I mean, you're averaging maybe, $17 to $20 a month. That's a couple trips to Starbucks that you can sort of miss out on, to have that peace of mind, knowing that if anything can happen, because anything can happen in this day of time. It doesn't necessarily have to be you. It could be, faulty wires or anything like that within, the structure of your house or your place of residence that you rent.
Yeah.
And then you're sort of out. So, I mean, like I said, with me, I'm a big insurance guy. Even before, I got into the insurance business, when I, go purchase a TV, hey, do you want the add-on warranty for, $60 or this, that, and the third? Go ahead and add. I want all the coverage that I can personally get, because if something happens, hey, I'm coming to y'all. I'm not going to have to worry about it. I'm going directly.
Exactly. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. The thing that I see the most, especially with it going with it's fall now, so we're really close to those winter months. And the thing that happens at least once or twice a year is somebody has a little space heater, and that space heater catches fire, and now your whole apartment building is on fire. So now you don't have a place to stay for at least 30 to 60 days. Your clothes have been burnt up, you don't have any furniture, and you didn't have renter's insurance. So yeah, that is, insurance is a big thing to have. And some people feel like it's a luxury, but it's not. You have insurance on your car, you have insurance when you buy a home. Even as a renter, you should have insurance to protect your belongings and your family. So do you have any advice for homeowners? Do you have any advice about, insurance as a whole, being able to bundle it, what questions to ask their insurance provider? So if they happen to not come to you and they go to somebody else, what kind of questions are important to ask to make sure that they are properly covered and understand what their coverage is? Because that's always my issue, is I have insurance, I don't never know what it means.
I would say what you need to do is, first of all, with anything that you do sort of sales-wise or buying, make sure that you have that interpersonal connection with the actual person that you're sort of buying from. I think that's sort of huge. And make sure that they go over, you got to find the time to make sure that they go over each part, sort of line for line, to make sure that you're sort of getting the best coverage. So as a, insurance agent, I would hope that, even if you pretty much don't go with me, that the agent that you have that's sort of providing coverage for you goes over each line. And if they're not, make sure that, hey, like each line, what am I covered for? And understanding your deductible. That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
Understanding, hey, why is my housing, sort of the rebuild it from the ground up at this number? Right. And, that's what I say, you have to be comfortable with asking the agent to do their job pretty much.
Yeah.
To understand, like, hey, this is what you need. I definitely say bundling always helps out. It always helps out the percentage of what you pay. The more lines that you have with the company, the more discounts and things of that nature that you can see. Always ask for discounts.
Right.
Is there any other discounts that you can find?
Mm-hmm.
I always say that to sort of take a look at, to make sure that you're pretty much getting the best bang for your buck. Because at the end of the day, you're a consumer. This is not a monopoly. I always tell customers, shop around and make sure that you get the best rate. Even if it's not with me, make sure that the coverages align for you. Mm-hmm. And that, everything sort of works for you. I'm not going to get every sale, and I'm not looking to get every sale. But one thing that you will get from me is great, sort of customer service. Yeah. You'll be able to trust me. I'll be able to go through line for line. Hey, this is what your coverage is. This is what, it doesn't cover. Now, understand, if you go with this and it doesn't cover it, hey, like, most people don't go with the flood insurance in sort of this area, which is, hey, but just understand that you don't have it if something happens, sort of because of it. So on just telling people, being upfront, being honest, having that integrity and having people trust you goes a mile, makes a major difference. And a customer that's completely satisfied, and a customer that's, hey, I don't understand, but, this is what Desmond said that you're going to sort of get, and I'm going to just go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So all of that makes perfect sense to me. I hope that you got something tonight or today, whenever you're watching this, out of this interview. If you don't take anything away from this, for me, it would be make sure you are insured and understand your coverage. So if you have coverage right now and you don't understand what any of it means, like me, call the person whose picture shows up on your statement and make them explain it to you. That is their job, right?
Definitely. 100%. Takeaway, protect your investments, people.
Yeah.
Protect your investment.
Now, Desmond, tell us, how can we find you?
So you can find me on Facebook, Desmond Burris. Got my Liberty Mutual page. You can find me on YouTube, Desmond Burris, Liberty Mutual as well. That's pretty much how you can sort of reach out to me. If you have any other questions, definitely don't hesitate. My cell phone, 540-526-8973. You can reach out to me personally. Email Desmond, DESMOND, Burris, BURRIS, at libertymutual.com.
All right. Well, thanks for stopping in with us today. And I will see you guys next time.